You don't like something that's showing up in your life. I know this is hard to hear, but you're the one creating it. There's a reason it showed up in your life and you aligned with it. I'm going to show you how to break this down and how to shift this so that you create exactly what you want by changing yourself. Stick around for the end of the video. Okay, welcome to Patty's World. I'm Patty. I'm a manifestation and transformational coach, and I help you step into the highest version of you so that you create the life of your dreams because you're absolutely worthy. Right, and I want to start with this premise that you are a creation, an extension of God, source, the universe, infinite intelligence, the power that creates worlds. You are an expression of and an extension of that power. God is within you. The desires of your heart were put there by God. That's biblical. So if there's a desire within you, you're meant to have it. The thing is, you intellectualize and talk yourself out of having and being the good that you desire. Society, culture, family, they program us into believing that we're broken, we're not good enough, we're not worthy, and we walk around feeling less than. Now, because you're connected to that power that creates worlds, infinite intelligence, you're connected to everything. When things show up in our life, we aligned with them for a reason. They're there to show you something. If you're operating from a victim mindset, why did this happen to me? This always happens to me. And listen, let me tell you, if something's always happening to you, you have a pattern. You have a limiting belief, an underlying subconscious belief that this is what you're worthy of, this is what you get, that you deserve to be treated this way. When you bring that to the surface, you bring it to the light, and you look at it and you realize it's irrational, it's nonsensical, you break it down, you flip it, and you program new empowering beliefs that serve you, it goes away. It fizzles out of your life. And yes, it is that simple. It can be more difficult when we have a belief that it can be more difficult, but it can be that simple. You make a conscious decision, a decision in awareness, energetic decision in consciousness, and say, no more, this is not who I am anymore, because you get to decide who you are. And then you choose differently, you believe differently, you talk to yourself differently. So you're the operant power. Whatever's showing up in your life is showing you something about you. You're always a cause. The external world is just a reflection of what you believe and assume about yourself. That's law of assumption in a nutshell. So you're creating something in your mind, in imagination, worst case scenario, you're pushing that out because everyone is you pushed out and they're reflecting it back to you. When you understand those principles, and so something shows up in your life, you can look at it and say, what am I believing? And the more you practice this, it's like exercising a muscle, the easier it will be for you to shift and change. That simple. You practice it over and over, you get better at it. And when something shows up that maybe is undesired, or at first you're creating a story that's negative because we default to worst case scenarios, if you start believing and anchoring in a mindset that everything's always working out in my favor, and this is working out in my favor, and this is going to flip and work in my favor because I'm an extension of God, source, the universe, who wants the best for me. I have this desire, I'm meant to have it, and I believe that I'm worthy and deserving, and this is going to flip, or this is going to work itself out. I'm not going to judge it, and I'm going to create a new story that benefits me, and I'm going to push that out, and the mirror will reflect it back to me. The world of the five senses, the slow world, right? You're the creator. We always create in the mind, in imagination. Everything is created by you in your mind. Everything is created, every belief, every thought, every feeling. And in fact, we have a thought, which becomes a belief, which creates a feeling, which creates our predominant state. And that is what you're manifesting. And that is true for love, for money, relationships, because money is something else that we have a relationship with. We have a relationship with everything, with ourselves. The most important relationship you're going to have is the one that you have with yourself. And how you feel about yourself and what you believe about yourself is how people will show up treating you and mirroring back to you. What you believe about money and assume about money and how it's made and how it shows up in your life and that relationship that you have with wealth and lack, because it's all energy, you will push that out and it will show up in your life in the same way. The same with people and health and everything else. So the trick or the work is to ask yourself, what am I believing? Why did this show up in my life? And how can I shift and change this, including health? And health is something that I've really been working on to release beliefs that don't serve me anymore and flipping them and changing them and operating from a more empowered place. You can do this with everything. When you change and shift who you are, the world outside of you will conform to show you that. It is true with money. You will align and you will attract with whatever you believe you're worthy of. So everything, anything that shows up in your life, money, abundance, wealth, you created it. The job. If you believe that you have to get money only through a job and that's the way that only money can come, that's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to push out, and that's the way it's going to show up. And here's how I'm going to bring that belief to the surface and break it down and show you that it is not the absolute truth. Because is it true that all people only earn money through jobs? No, there's lots of people who earn money in different ways. Money can come in a myriad of different ways. A lottery, a rich relative, you found it, whatever. Money and wealth and abundance can come to you in a myriad of different ways. Not just that limiting belief where you've limited yourself in this silo that this is the only way that things can show up. And when we do that in our very linear human thinking, we're limiting ourselves. When you open yourself up and say, okay, I am an abundant being because the world is abundant, nature is abundant, life is abundant, there's an abundance of everything. And we keep on expanding and growing and evolving. And I'm opening myself up for it to show up in the best way possible through the path of least resistance, through the path of least effort. Because life is always supporting me and I always get what I want some way, somehow it shows up in my life. Because I am the operant power. I get to decide who and what I am and what I deserve. You are the creator of your reality. Whatever you're imagining and believing and attaching a meaning to, and whatever story you're telling yourself, it's up here. You're pushing that out, and that is what's showing up in your life. That's what creates your energetic core frequency, and you will resonate with things at that level. If you walk around with a core frequency that you're not good enough and you're not worthy, you will align with people and experiences that will reflect it back to you, so you believe that you're not worthy and not good enough. And then you stay in that hamster wheel. The shift is to interrupt the pattern, and you get to choose and anchor in intentionally, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm good enough, and believe it. And treat yourself from that place. Because if you believe you're worthy and you believe you're deserving, but you believe it at a core, inherent level, you push that out, the world will reflect it. And there is a lag time in your 3D. Sometimes things can show up instantly. The better you get at it, the more easier it shows up. You're not doing anything wrong. There is a lag time, but things can show up easily. Both. I've seen both. But the shift is also believing it within yourself without needing evidence of it in your 3D world. When you know because you know and you're certain of it, you don't need proof. You walk around feeling and believing, embodying this highest version of you who knows their worth and value. Everything starts from you. You're the operant power. So the shift is, if something showed up in your life that you don't prefer, that you don't like, ask yourself, what am I believing? And how can I shift this? How can I believe differently so that it works in my favor? And then start telling yourself, this is going to flip in my favor. This is showing me that I believe I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, that it's okay to be treated this way. And when you change who you are at the core, the people who show up in your life will show up treating you better. Things will start aligning for you because you're operating from a higher core frequency. You're always the cause. The external world is the effect. Okay? So don't freak out if something undesired shows up or in a pattern. And listen, as you're evolving and elevating your self-concept, an old pattern may show up. But when you respond differently, you didn't do anything wrong. When you respond and react differently and it doesn't shake you and you kind of dismiss it from a very neutral and different place, because you get to decide who you are, it'll fizzle out of your life. It will have no more power over you. And then it'll go away, or it'll transform. It'll transform. That's how it works. Okay? I hope that helps. Thank you for joining me on this video, and we'll see you on the next one.